Welcome to NYU Alumni 101 for the Rory Meyers College of Nursing. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you to all of the nurses and healthcare workers out there for being essential and hardworking during this time. After we review opportunities and benefits for all alumni, I'll be joined by my colleague Janet Griffin from Meyers Alumni Relations, in addition to an amazing alumni volunteer, Dr. Kathy D'Amico from the Meyers Alumni Association, to talk about staying connected directly to your college. More from them a little bit later. Again, thank you for being here, and we're going to get started. All right, class, today we're going to cover 6 topics in under 30 minutes and allow time for Q&A at the end. Please feel free to communicate with myself and our special guests at any time using the Q&A feature in Zoom. The purpose of today is to teach you about how to get connected and how to use your benefits. Following today's webinar, we will send out a cheat sheet to everyone with helpful links. So grab a snack and let's get started. The NYU Alumni Association is the umbrella organization that unites all graduates and keeps you connected to your alma mater. Representing over 500,000 living alumni, the NYU Alumni Association is the largest network of any private university in the United States. Membership begins upon graduation and is free for life. Here you can see our recent alumni network co-chairs raising their glasses at the recent alumni reunion during Alumni Weekend 2017 at One World Observatory. The mission of the NYUAA is to build and sustain a lifelong relationship between the university and its alumni through a long list of initiatives like communications, events and programs, volunteer opportunities, recognizing alumni accomplishments and service through awards, supporting the Fund for NYU and the NYUAA Deborah Lamort Scholarship Fund, providing benefits and resources to all alumni, and being an avenue for feedback from the community to NYU administration. The 70-plus board of directors serve 3-year terms and work in committees to meet this mission. Pictured here is Meyers alum Billy Rosa, who received the Distinguished Young Alumni Award year before last from the NYU Alumni Association. You can learn more about Billy and his accomplishments by watching the highlight video on the alumni website. The NYU Alumni Association charters networks and clubs to provide further engagement and connection within the community. Make sure and sign up and opt in to hear from the clubs you want to be a part of. More on that a little bit later. These groups are led by alumni volunteers and supported by NYU staff and administrators. In addition to staying connected to your schools and academic programs, this is a great first step to getting involved. While our recent alumni parties used to look like the top photo and now look a little bit more like the bottom photo, we are still bringing you strong and interesting programs. Alumni have helped form 23 affinity clubs. These are primarily based in New York City. As you can see from the list, some groups are based upon identity, like the Women's Initiative or the Military and Veteran Network. Some are based upon career or personal interest, like Alumni in Tech or the Blockchain Club. I'm still trying to figure out what blockchain means. And some are based upon your student involvement. Did you write for the Washington Square News or were you an RA? There's a club for that. And just to be honest, activities and communications from these clubs range widely from a few events a year to a few events per month. And on that note, all of our clubs are always seeking leadership. Have an event idea, interested in leading a club? It's easy to raise your hand and work with alumni staff to become a volunteer and make an impact. The Black Alumni Network is one of our most active clubs, and here's one of their paint nights. They recently celebrated Juneteenth with several events last week. The LGBTQ+ Alumni Network has regularly participated in Pride March. The Latinx Alumni Network won an award last year for their Latinx Film Festival with Ramon Rodriguez from Tisch. And this last photo is from an annual ice skating night with the recent Alumni Network. But wait, there's more. Approximately 275,000 alumni live in the New York City metro. That's over half. But the rest cover the globe and have created regional alumni clubs from Hawaii to London to South Africa and beyond. You can see markers on this map representing all of our regional clubs. And to be exact, 67 regional clubs keep NYU alumni connected and sharing knowledge in every time zone around the world. And I'll remind you, these clubs are all led by alumni volunteers planning events for people like you. Regional alumni clubs are open to all alumni, regardless of school, college, or degree type. And side note, in our current stay-at-home fantasy, you can attend events all over the world right from your bedroom. 2019 marked the first year the NYU Pan-Asia Alumni Conference was held in Singapore. Last October, hundreds of alumni traveled to Singapore for a full day of panels, lectures, and networking. Unfortunately, Pan-Asia is taking a break in 2020, but there are still many exciting events happening in that region weekly. Perhaps you're hopeful to move to another region of the world. These clubs can help get you connected to your new city. Alumni in London regularly support our London Study Away site and visit iconic locations like the Hampton Court Palace. Los Angeles hosts an annual presidential reception with Andy Hamilton, a monthly happy hour, and countless other events and programs. 10 points for anyone if you can name the historic site in the LA photo here. So how do you find out about these clubs and activities? This won't be my last time saying it today. You need to opt in. Updating your mailing address, your email address, and your email preferences with the Office of Alumni Relations should be on your to-do list every time anything changes. I won't know if you toggle out right now and make this update while I'm speaking. One of the best ways to stay up to date with NYU and fellow alumni is to follow us on social media. NYU Alumni on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Liking the club pages like this one from our San Francisco club will help bring NYU stories into your social media feed. Moving on to part 2, alumni events. Now I know what you're thinking. These people are not wearing masks, they're not sitting 6 feet apart. Whether planned by our volunteers or planned by staff, events are now focused on your safety. We're used to presenting a delicious menu of 700 events each year as one of your exclusive NYU benefits. Alumni Weekend is your annual homecoming in October. The Alumni Awards are usually in the spring. Speakers on the Square, Alumni Access are special events in New York City, and so on. No one can predict when we will feel comfortable donning our rainbow wings and meeting fellow alumni together again in person. It could be this fall, probably not. It could be next fall, maybe. Have no fear, we are on it. Zoom has temporarily taken over your personal life, your work life, and yes, even your alumni connections life. The recent Alumni Network hosted a free yoga evening a few weeks ago to rave reviews and only a few sore muscles. They're hosting another one of these coming up soon. And raise your hand if you ever had Professor Jonathan Haidt in class. That might be a trick question because he's from Stern. But we do have a faculty series we call 5 Questions With, and this engages hundreds of alumni each week, and this session recording can be found on the alumni website. As long as you're opted in and up to date, you will receive our current weekly digest announcing your many options for this week and coming up. You can register anytime up until the event and receive the event link to continue learning and connect with your alumni network. So far, these events have all been offered for free over the past 3 months, anything from a 30-minute webinar to a happy hour. These are a great way to connect with alumni all over the world and learn something new. We do love a summary, so let's go to it. NYUAA is free. You're in 700 events per year, over 90 networks and clubs all over the world. With the removal of travel as a barrier, you can now attend a trivia night in Los Angeles, which we just had this past Wednesday, celebrating Pride, or happy hour and a happy hour in Israel, all within 24 hours. So be sure to update your preferences and opt in to all the clubs and all of the information you want to receive. In addition to events, there are other ways to connect virtually to our NYU network. Maybe you need a job, maybe you want a mentor, maybe you want to connect with other alumni. The Violet Network, which launched just this past April, is your online community, and over 4,500 alumni have already joined. So we're going to drive down into the Violet Network and learn a little bit more about this as a resource for you. This is a new online community, and this gives you the ability to connect with other alumni. So when you create your page through the NYU alumni website, it will confirm that you are alums, and then you can get in and see all of these options here. So we'll go into Explore the Community, which is one of the most exciting places. And I happen to know that your Meyers Alumni Association president is actually in here already, so I can show you her profile. Monifa Anderson. So you see that she comes up here and we can check her out. She has a profile. She has listed here at the bottom in things that she's interested in helping with and ways that she can discuss and offer advice. So if you want to connect with her, all you have to do is hit this button right here and message Monifa. A great fast way to connect to a fellow nursing alum. Also in the Explore community, you can search based upon career field. You could search based upon where they work. There's lots of ways to search through this function and connect with other alumni. There's also a groups tab. In the groups, you'll see first that the New York City group comes up for me because that's my group. When I go to all groups, you'll see that there are groups all over the world connecting you to clubs and activities. Our Arts and Entertainment Network, if you want connections into the arts and entertainment world, has been one of our more active groups in here. And there is a jobs feed that feeds directly from Handshake, which is NYU's jobs board. So this is another spot to check out jobs. Perhaps you are not considering a career in nursing, and so this might be a spot to start. Another thing just to highlight that we like to show here is just LinkedIn. So you might know this, but on the LinkedIn page, in LinkedIn, there is New York University page, which has an alumni tab. And this can show you that there are over 400,000 alumni who have their NYU degree listed on their LinkedIn page. And you can search this by where they live, where they work, nursing as a title, when they graduated. So you can actually use this LinkedIn page to search similarly to the Violet Network. The one thing I just highlight is the Violet Network represents alumni who have raised their hand and say, I want to be a mentor. And LinkedIn is a little less connected. So you might need to think about your approach when you're using that as a tool. All right. Back into our PowerPoint. Alumni Communications. Staying connected to your NYU community virtually is more than just clubs and events. So let's move on to part 4. Sharing your stories, as well as NYU and alumni news and news through email, social media, the alumni website, videos, and a print magazine, our communications team brings you what you need to know. In addition to the weekly digest I mentioned, you will also see in your email inbox a monthly newsletter called Alumni Connect and a monthly event digest. These are your tools and reminders for staying connected and informed. Another program to highlight while we're here is NYU Changemakers, a selected group of NYU alumni whose accomplishments help better the world. I'm sure that there are many Meyers alums that you could consider to promote and nominate as an NYU Changemaker in the future. So please check those out. And as I said before, one of the best ways to connect up to date with NYU and fellow alumni is through social media. In addition to the latest news, research, and events, these channels are your one-stop shop for a daily dose of #VioletPride. From binge-worthy shows starring and made by NYU alumni to how the NY community is at the forefront of fighting the pandemic, some of you might have already participated in some of the content we've shared on the NYU alumni channels. Have something that you'd like to update or share? Please do complete a class note on the website, and then we will share that back with Meyers and all of our colleagues to share your news. It might not make it onto our social media, but it will be shared in some way. Part 5 is something you probably know the least about, your exclusive alumni benefits. These logos represent companies that offer you something special as an NYU graduate. Prior to today's webinar, you probably have heard about the NYU alumni card. This is your key to showing that you're in the club. We will soon be mailing physical alumni cards to the recent graduates. These will go to the address on file with NYU or to the address you have updated in the opt-in form. Before I get into the benefits, I do want to mention you don't need the physical card, to access your benefits. And number 2, the card is not an official form of identification and does not grant you access to campus buildings. Now that you're no longer a student, for safety reasons, you will need a purpose and permission to enter NYU buildings. This is the portal to connect to your benefits. The Perks Connect portal lists your alumni benefits negotiated by the NYU Alumni Association and Office of Alumni Relations. It also lists dozens of local offers based upon your zip code. So this is a great site to explore. You can find this on the NYU Alumni website. To create your account, you can use the NYU Alumni group code and your alumni status will be verified. It's very easy to get in. To highlight some of the things you'll find in here, check out this list. 15% off flowers, 15% off car rental, 25% off WeWork, and much more. Did you want a $15 monthly Zipcar membership? How about discounted home and auto insurance through Liberty Mutual? Liberty. We'll just dub it. Find these and more on Perks Connect. Some great on-campus benefits continue after graduation, like lifetime NYU email, as long as you use it every 6 months. If you have questions about Wi-Fi, use of the library, their e-library is another great resource. Alumni have full access to JSTOR for life. You can find out about tickets once we have in-person events again. All of this you can find through our website and as a benefit to being an alum. And right now, for watching today, I'm going to drop into the chat your benefit for the NYU bookstore. So if you are shopping on the NYU bookstore and would like 15% off, right now you use the discount code NYU Alumni 19. So if you're watching out there, NYU Alumni 19, all smashed together, is the discount code on the bookstore. So grab you something for 15% off. Your career development benefits continue after graduation. I'm sure that you can utilize resources through Meyers, but we also have Handshake, which is for all alumni. You can register for a one-on-one virtual career appointment through Handshake. A lot of our alumni use this for career transition. If you need additional support, the Wasserman Center can also suggest additional resources and career coaches. I feel like a skipping record. Have I mentioned that you need to always update your contact information and opt in to get these resources? Sign up for it all and see what happens. We love a summary, like I mentioned. So here is information about events, social media, the Violet Network, Perks Connect, Handshake, and these are the resources for you. So waiting patiently in the green room, I would now like to welcome to the stage my dear friend, Janet Griffin, to tell you more about connecting back to Meyers.
Hello, everyone. I am Janet Griffin. I am the Director of Alumni Relations at Meyers, and it is my privilege to build community at Meyers, and I do that by connecting alumni to each other and back to the college. So we do that in a lot of different ways. Oh, here we go. So one major thing that we do is we have our Meyers Alumni Association, which is about 18 people. All different degree programs. We have people at all different ages, all different levels of their career, and they are my partners with building this community. And so our mission is really to foster a lifelong connection between the college and its alums. So we host a lot of events throughout the year. A lot of them are academic, and we provide continuing education credits for that, which you'll need for your licensing. And we also do a lot of networking and social events. And as Tim mentioned, everything is online at this point. So you can tune in wherever you are in the country after graduation. We also have some signature events that we do, part of Alumni Weekend. So we have our Alumni Dean's Luncheon and Faculty Lecture, and that will be in late October. You'll get more information about that very soon in the coming months. It will all be online this year, so we're super excited about that. And then we also give out awards at this ceremony as well. The Alumni Association Board takes great pains to review lots of nominations for the Meyers Distinguished Alumni Award as well as the Rising Star Award. It's a very competitive process, and we are so proud to always recognize our alumni. We also have several other programs. We have guest speakers for student clubs and our undergraduate classes. So if you're interested in coming back to speak, I would love to have you. I'm looking for speakers all the time, all throughout the year, to come back and talk about various things, whether you want to share your experience working in the OR or in L&D, whatever the case may be. We want you to come back and share your experience. We also have a mentoring program where you can take a baccalaureate student under your wing. Maybe you were a participant in this program, and we would love to have you back to participate again during the academic year to help them navigate all the different things that you have to figure out while you are looking for jobs. We have also just started a recent alumni council, and we would love for you to be a part of this. This group is going to be solely focused on programming for graduates of the last 10 years. So we are just forming this group, and again, we'd love to have you be a part of it. We'll be sending out more information to you very soon. So that's why we want you to make sure that we have your updated email address so that we can get you that information. And again, we have monthly e-newsletters that we send out with all kinds of information about faculty news, student news, news, alumni news, upcoming events, you name it, it's all in there. A letter from the dean, the whole 9 yards. So it's always chocked full of great information to keep you up to date on what's happening at the college. And of course, you have to follow us on social media if you really want to keep on top of what's happening at the college. So we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have Twitter, we have LinkedIn. So I know that you're probably already there, and we would love for you just to go in and follow, share, click whatever you need to do to make sure that you are on all of our social media pages. And you might end up finding yourself on one of our social media pages, like this young lady here, who sent us pictures and a blurb about how she is fighting on the front lines of COVID-19. So we'd love to have you be involved in that as well. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce my colleague, Kathy D'Amico. She is the Vice President of our Alumni Association, and she's going to tell you a little bit more about her involvement with the Alumni Association.
So good morning, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Kathy D'Amico. I'm a 2007 graduate from the Meyers PhD program. And it's been my pleasure to continue to work with the Alumni Association for about the last 4 years, and for this year serving as its vice president. I have found the social as well as the academic events to be absolutely interesting. I learned many more things about information technology going to one of the academic events. And recently, I worked with a new graduate, somebody who's now a new graduate, I met at the first event that Janet had on the slides there. And that event was about, it was just a social event. And I met a young woman who was about to graduate in December, and she became my research assistant. And now we will be authoring a paper together. So I am really looking forward to having more new alumni join in with us and use the alumni board and our connections to new positions, to talk about further education. I work right now for Niche, Nurses Improving Care to Health System Elders, which is a not-for-profit business at NYU that was founded at NYU. And so we are really interested in also having students and potentially even new graduates who are interested in working with us and providing information about care of older adults and some of the new things that they see on the forefront in that care. So I'm very interested in meeting all of you and having you work with us. So Janet, do you have anything else that you'd like me to touch on?
Yeah, I would love for you to talk a little bit about your work with the Alumni Association. I know you've been involved for several years now, and just hear a little bit about how that's had an impact on your life and other
I have met, because of my work with the Alumni Association, particularly on the alumni board, I have worked with many people from around the New York City and outside the New York City area. We do our board meetings both in person as well as virtually. And I have met many graduates from the university in general and reconnected with people I went to graduate school with, but also connected with people that I've worked with for many years that I was not aware that they graduated from NYU in the workplace. But we have been connected and we stay connected and we keep in touch for professional things as well as for personal fun things. And on the board, I've been the chair for the nominating committee, and as chair of the nominating committee too, we sought out new alumni as well as others to be on the alumni board. We want the alumni board to have a broad spectrum of participants because we know that the perspective of some of us who've been in nursing for a very long time may be different than the perspective than many of you, and you have different needs in terms of education and networking than some of us do. And I will say that many of the younger people who've been on the board have made some connections for references for new positions, references for graduate school, and those who've been attending some of the other alumni events. They've made those kinds of connections and been able to move to the kinds of positions and get into the graduate schools that they're really interested in through that kind of networking. So, and this year I was the person who nominated the Distinguished Alumni Award recipient. She is a colleague of mine that I worked with at Hunter College when we were both there. And it was really a pleasure to be able to reconnect with her, because she had just come back from working for a considerable period of time in Washington State, and now she's back working in the New York area. So those connections are very important to all of us, and it's been important for me as I'm getting ready to retire from actively working and just want to work part-time. And it's also important for many of you who may be looking for something, who want to work just part-time because you're going to go back to graduate school. So please use us for your connections.
Kathy, that is a great story. You have a whole box of stories about the value of connecting and staying connected to your alumni. So that's great. Janet, come on back and we'll kick this over into more of a Q&A conversation between all of us. But that is a really good point, Kathy, about staying connected. And even in the current times where we cannot be connected in person, it's almost even more important to make sure that you are showing up, signing into events, using these new technologies of Zoom, and finding ways that you can connect and learn about your network. So I actually want to bring Janet back and ask Janet, you know, because we aren't in person and won't be in person for a while, what are some of those stories that you've seen thus far of types of events that you've had, and how many people are coming, and are they people from all over the world and that sort of thing?
We've had people all over the country, all over the world that have joined us for some of our programs, which has been super exciting because at this up to the COVID pandemic, we really had only done events in New York City. So it was thrilling to see people that were fine. Like I had people asking, like, how can I come to this event that you're doing, but I'm in Chicago. So we finally were able to accommodate that and have people attend. Very exciting stuff. We did a lot of COVID related events over the last few months, which were extraordinarily well attended. I think that even, you know, everybody as a healthcare professional really wanted to sort of lock arms with other people that were healthcare professionals. And in particular, because we were here in New York City, I think it was, you know, people beyond this area really wanted to see what was actually happening here on the ground. Because you hear about what's happening in the media, but not necessarily from someone working the front lines. We've also had a town hall with the dean, which was great. That was the first time we've ever done that. It was great access to have her speak and tell us what's going on and how the college has reacted with it, because as you can imagine, there's been a lot of changes at the college, you know, with the clinical rotations and classroom space and things like that, based upon the restrictions that we've been under. In the future, we are planning a faculty lecture series, which I'm super excited about. This is a new thing that's come out of this virtual space that we're in. So these are coming up soon, and we're going to continue for a while. And so we're just going to be showcasing our faculty and the research that they're doing here at Meyers, which is going to be great.
You're kind of highlighting the fact too that not only as a Meyers alum, you get access to that continued learning and knowledge through faculty from Meyers, but you also still have these other opportunities to connect with faculty now all over the institution. And a lot of the things we're doing are all being recorded. So it's great too that if you miss it, you can spend some time to enjoy some content on your own after the fact through the alumni website. And so the point of today was really to highlight making these connections through our general alumni association and through Meyers directly. So you have access to a really large assortment of benefits and resources to help you and continue to move you forward in both your career and personal life. So it's great that all of this will continue forever. It's a lifelong relationship, and you will be a part of the NYU family forever. Any final thoughts or words from you, Kathy?
Well, I look forward to, I have hosted an alumni event that was for all NYU alumni here in my home in Las Vegas, where I am now. And I look forward to, as I retire, not only continuing to work with the Meyers alumni, but seeing if we can't have a club in the, an alumni club in the Las Vegas area. We have many alumni who were involved in the entertainment and hotel business here, who are certainly not necessarily Meyers alumni, but I will also say there are nursing jobs out here, guys. And we could use some more people who have that level of expertise that you leave the Meyers College of Nursing with. So it's important for us to think about, if you want to expand, there's places to expand and people who can help introduce you.
Well, Kathy, I'm coming to Las Vegas then. I'm on a plane.
That's good.
Any parting words from you, Janet?
Just stay connected, as Tim already mentioned. Make sure you're updating your contact information on the website. That is how we keep in touch with you. So we want to keep inviting you to all these events. And again, they're virtual. So no matter where you end up at this point, whether you're in California, Michigan, wherever, London, who knows, you can join in on all these events. And we want to make sure that you're staying, you just have all the latest news on the college. So just make sure you keep updating your information.
Great. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us, and we hope you learned a few new things. And remember that NYU bookstore discount, NYU Alumni 19. Go get 15% off, and be safe and be well, everyone. All right. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, I think we're done.